Hey everybody. So I thought I would hop on over here on the Instagram Live. I've been doing a lot of Facebook Lives and doing lots of demos and things like that, but I thought I would do a little painting with you guys today. This is a painting that I repainted, oh my gosh, I think just 2 days ago. So the whole thing was finished. I had it signed and it was signed and it was hung and I was selling it and I just kept looking at it in my art studio and I did not like it. But one thing I did on one of my demos last week was we were doing these little mandalas. But I decided I loved when I researched the mandalas, I found a Lotus mandala, which is really cool. There's 8 petals here and it was really pretty. And I kept looking at this painting and I thought, you know what this painting needs is this mandala. I wish I had a photo to show you what it looked like before, but maybe I'll find one in something that I've done. But it only had 7 petals. So anyway, what I did was I took some chalk, I chalked in my flower, and then you can see some of the chalk lines too. And then what I did was I took some white paint, the titanium white, which I love, 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 which is right here. And I just started blocking in some of my petals with just a wash, just to kind of get the shape right. And then my white was sort of blending and I couldn't really tell. So I just took some blue ink and I inked in these petals. So now I'm gonna spend a little time with you guys. I'm gonna just start working on these petals. And this is, you know, very early stages of a rework of a painting. And that's always fun to do. And if you guys want, you have any questions, let me know. I will just start mixing. I'm sorry you can't see my palette over here, but I have, and I'll show you my paints when I bring them out. But I'm just using the palette paper and the pads that I love because they're easy. Or you could put some plastic down, or you could do something like that. That's always fun too. And let's see, where am I? I'm just trying to get, if you guys have any questions, up on my other screen. So one of the colors that I love is, it took me so long, you guys, to figure out how to pronounce this. There is a site you can hop on. It's like a translation or how you pronounce quinacridone. So anyway, happens to be one of my favorite colors. I have it in the Nova. And I also have it in the inks, and I use them all the time. In fact, they're both pretty empty. I'm gonna have to get some new ones. The acrylic inks are more fluid, and you can mix them with white and other stuff like that. And also you could mix it with any of your colors, but instead of using water, I often use inks. So that's a little tip if you want to sort of have your paints a little bit less thick, add some inks to it. And look at my inside of this. It is it is pretty much done, but I love it. I'll just dip right in here. Nova colors are the best. Betty Krause is a friend of mine and she really turned me on to them. And so the other Nova colors that I'm going to use today would be the hot pink. I really like the opaque over the transparent in this pink. It's nice and thick. And then I'm also using this portrait tone, which is another opaque one. So I'm just gonna mix up a couple little colors over here on the side. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I just thought it was, you know, Wednesday and I realized it's only Tuesday. I started doing the Facebook Lives. Let's see, I was doing 4 a week. And then I went down to 3 a week, and now I'm going down to 1 a week on those. It's been 7 weeks of doing them, and I just have other projects to do, but I thought I have to come over and give some of my Instagram friends some love too. So what I'm doing is, I'm just gonna go in and start building up my layers, and that's what I really love to do. And so I'm just gonna start putting some, I've mixed in the portrait and a little bit of the hot pink. And my brushes are pretty yucky at this point. In fact, I was thinking the other day I need to get some new brushes. I don't really take the best, I just don't really take good care of them. I wish I did, but I just throw them in the water and And then that's that. But look at them, they're kind of getting trashed. But I was painting something else earlier, so I've got blue all over. So right now, I'm really taking my sort of medium-ish brush that has a little bit of a slant, dipping in the colors. You know what I'll do is I'll also put the palette up here so you guys can see that too. And I'm also drinking it's not tequila time yet, even though it is Cinco de Mayo. I'm drinking some tea because it's 4 o'clock. And I always have my tea at 4 o'clock. Now, I know it's not 4 o'clock for everybody, but it is out here in California. So if you guys can see that, I'm just using that white. And I'm dipping right in with the pink. And I'm pretty loose here. I'm pretty loose. And what I'm trying to do is really work into some of my edges and start to get rid of that blue line. The blue line was only there for me to figure out how big I wanted these petals. And I'm just brushing like back and forth, not really brushing in a up and down way. You can see like I had these petals going so many different ways. And that's the great thing about acrylics too. I use chalk mostly, and the only reason I went to the blue ink was because my petals were white and then I couldn't really see the chalk, but you could probably get different colors and we'll do the same thing. Chalk works great because you can just wipe the chalk right off. So when I repaint over a painting, I'm gonna try and find my skewer. If I can, hold on, see if I can grab one. When I repaint over a painting, there's already a lot of layers down there. So I'm sometimes I'll go in and just scrape off a little bit just for some texture. There's not too much underneath because it's got the white. You could see it better here maybe. So every once in a while I'll just grab that. The other thing I like to do is not cover over. Okay, so this here was the painting underneath. So I want to be careful that I'm not covering over all of it. So when you rework a painting, I was talking about this yesterday, when you rework a painting, or when I rework a painting actually, you can do anything you want, is I really try to leave some of it there. If not half of it, you know, a good quarter of it, because there's a lot that you've already made on that painting that's great that you might want to just keep, but it also adds a lot of fun, a lot of texture and other things going on. So I always try to do that. So I'm probably going to make sure I'm paying attention to this area, this area, this area, and some of these, and try and keep that going. So what I want to do is really try to get the right petal size going. I can't even remember, did that go to there? I think it went like that. And at this point too, I'm not thinking too hard about anything. Well, I'm really talking to you guys, but I'm also just sort of letting the brush fall where it may and start building things back up. Now I want to be careful too, because I don't want it to be too pink. I really like the white part of it. Let's see what's underneath there. And if you wanted to be opaque, you would just use a thicker bodied paint. Too bad I can't have any music on for you guys. I don't think you're allowed. Unless anybody knows that rule, let me know. So hopefully you're just playing some music in the background while you're watching. When I'm working too, I often work, I'm gonna move this so you can see, I often work around something. I might have paint on my brush and I'm working with this, you know, down here in the lotus flower, but I might decide to, you know, add a little bit here and there. This color palette is a lot paler than I'm usually work in, so I would be curious to see if I keep it. Sometimes I'll paint in one way and it always ends up brighter than what I expect. So I'm just building up again some brush strokes. And I'm gonna go into here and start to really go a little bit darker in these corners. So I'm gonna probably switch brushes, but I'm gonna hop into this guy. Oh my gosh, this color is so gorgeous. So I'm just going in and bringing some definition into the petals. Think of it as you're cooking and you're just adding your ingredients. You're adding your layers. Oh, that guy doesn't want to stay. There we go. What's funny about painting too is the ones that I end up reworking, there's a reason they either are sitting in my art studio or they're sitting on an easel or they're there, I see them and they bug me. There's something about it that bugs me. And it could be a year. I mean, I think this one's been a year. And the one I'm working on, I'm thinking the girl with the flowers that I'm working on, she might be a repainting of something too. I'll have to go back to my earlier photos on that one. But what's interesting is the ones that I rework are the ones that I end up loving the most. So my gut tells me to change it, and it's usually right. So I'm just building it up. Acrylics, if you haven't worked with acrylics, they dry really fast. It's the best part about acrylics, but it also can be not the best part when you want to blend colors. So you have to kind of work in a fast brush stroke if you want to blend it. The best part about acrylics is you can then, it'll dry so fast, then you can just keep adding on layers. You can still see a little bit of my blue. And that's because I'm using more of a transparent white right now. So as I continue to sort of make these solid, eventually I'll go in and start adding my little details. Just trying to get my other I don't know how to do it, you guys. I'm trying to get my live on my iPad in case you guys had questions. And I have no idea how to do that. So I'll have to research. I don't know about you, but I Google everything. And if I can't find the answer, then I ask somebody. Maybe one of you guys know the answer. Because right now my phone is connected to a tripod and it's covering up the screen. All right, so I'm standing up now as I'm talking to you guys, and I can tell like these are a little wonky. So I'm going to try, I think I need to make this one go over here a tiny bit more. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to be a little bit of a lotus mandala, and instead of just a free willy flower like I like to do. There's been a lot of leaf blowing in the neighborhood. Every time I turn around, somebody's blowing leaves. I don't know if you can hear that, but or dirt. Okay, so I got these guys looking good. I'm wondering if you can even see them. This is a, what size is this canvas? It is a 20 by 24. And you can't really see the edges. But this lotus flower does take up quite a bit of room. So I'm gonna go back in with that peachy color, the portrait. And I think I'm gonna add in another one of my favorite colors, which I'll show you guys. Somebody had asked me what my favorite colors are. Okay, here's another one that I love, love, love. All right, look. That's how much I love it. So this is me making this mess because I dip in all the time and then I'll scrape my paint off the sides here. You certainly don't have to do that, but sometimes when I'm in a pinch, I'll just grab it. And so I am going in, I have bad manners with my paints, and I'm going in and I'm turning the pinks together with that orange. And look how beautiful that color is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So it's a little bit muted. The brightness is down, but you can see I'm just building up the colors. And it will be a while before I get the more of the details that I like to paint. The backgrounds take a long time for me because I probably sometimes have about 15 layers before I even start my image. The reason there's 15 layers underneath this, but now I'm starting kind of not from scratch again, but certainly I'm building back up again from my base. And at this point too, I really don't know what colors and the whole thing. I'm not thinking, okay, this is gonna look like this and this is gonna look like that. I don't think like that when I paint it all. I'm more winging it, and it's going to be what it ends up being. And I usually go with my gut, like what am I feeling? What colors do I want to use today? So I'm gonna go and down here, yeah, you guys can see down here. Down here, I don't know what I want this to be either. So I know I want them to be petals, but I'm not sure on my coloring yet. So I'm adding more of this white, titanium white. Doing a little bit more blending and really trying to get rid of that blue mark. I don't really want to see the blue lines. The blue lines really were just so I could eyeball it. And now I can scrape a little bit more. Sometimes during these phases, it's pretty frustrating as far as, I'm just telling you guys, it's like you look at it and it looks like a big mess and you don't really know what you're doing yet. I've just learned over the years to just go with that and just trust the process pretty much, because it's the only thing you've got to do is just keep going. I know it's not finished, so I got to keep going, and then the magic will start to happen in time. I remember when I first started painting, I was more frustrated than I was satisfied. And luckily I kept at it, but I definitely felt the pain of, not knowing where I was going with it and stuff like that. So now I just sort of think about other things. So I'm going to bring back in that orange. All right, so now I'm sort of just working and building, and it's getting uglier. And so I'm going to play around. I'm going to take that skewer and make some cool patterns. Probably a lot of that will get covered up. And you guys, if you don't have time to even get 10 minutes in, if you take, like, if you're a mom with kids and you're doing all the homeschooling and you're super busy and there's so much going on, then take a piece of paper while they're working and they're doing their work and start doodling on the sides. Doodling is art, and I doodle all the time. So right now, I am going to go back in, and I think I'm going to bring some more white back into this. So I'm going back to my titanium, and I need a new brush. Okay. So I'm going to go in and get these outside petals filled. I really do love the fluidity of the white. I recommend, if you're starting out and you want to dabble a little bit in the high fluids, you definitely need white. Because white's great for dripping. You guys can see this right here. These lines were done on that other painting that I may keep, and it was all done with this white. The other reason why I like to use white so much is because it's a good block underneath. If I want to start bringing my brighter colors onto the palette, I've already got a little bit of white, and it just makes it just appear, it just gives me one less coat to make because I've already got my block in. So I'm just going over. And Cindy, I'm thinking about my light source now, probably because you brought it up to me, and it's probably going to be from the top looking down, thinking about the mandala, thinking about the lotus, thinking about sun, thinking about the light in the day, thinking about morning light. I'll probably have it come down this direction. So what I'll do is I'll start adding more white onto the top parts. And in here. So I was thinking I wanted to save some of that, but I ended up covering it up because I think what I'll do is, if I look at this sketch, now this isn't a sketch for this. This is just something I did last week. But I like the little details and things going on in here. So I'll probably end up doing something up here, and I'm going to keep this a little bit more simplified. So that's why I went and ended up covering it up. And the other thing is too, sometimes I will cover stuff up and forget that my intention was not to do it. And there you go. You have a new another idea then. See what happens with that one. So I'm still not super crazy about these two here. I definitely don't want them darker, but they're a little wonky to me. I can't tell if it's I'm just looking above it, but I'm just gonna lighten them a little bit. Just a touch. And then I'm gonna work down in here with some blues. I'll show you some of my blues that I love. Okay, so this is just blocking it in. And after, you know, like 30, 40 minutes or something like that, I'll definitely go and hang this up and step away from it before I've turned it into a big piece of mud. So I'm working on a table so I can really show you guys. Sometimes I'll work straight up on my easel, and I have some photos. You guys can see my easel is pretty awesome because it's a wall easel and I work straight on it. I don't have my paintings on an angle. Okay, so I've got this going on and I'm kind of liking that there. And so what I think I'm going to do now is go in here and show you some of my blues. Oh, you know what I might do first is, just so I can visually get rid of that in my head, is the blue, some of the blue lines. If you're painting with acrylics too, and you're super fast and you're kind of in a rush and you want to get to the next level, just take a blow dryer and you can blow dry it in a few minutes. Perfectly dry. And that's my dog Scout barking away. I have to take him for a walk later. So this is sort of like the reflection of the petals. All right, I think earlier I said I was going to try and leave some of that, but it looks like I'm covering most of that up. Maybe I'll leave that guy right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the blues. Okay, so here are some of my favorite blues. They are so yummy, yummy. Okay, I got the big tub of this Fallow Turquoise by Nova. I think I'll probably get, the next time I order from Nova, I'm gonna get big tubs. But I wanna show you guys this. Okay, so hold on. All right, they also send you, if you request it, a, whoopsie, whoop, this way. And I don't even know, you guys, I can't even tell. Oh no, I think we're right reading. My eyes are getting so bad. The eye doctor better open up soon so I can go get them tested again. So here is a color chart that they made. I'm gonna put it pretty close. They actually take a real dab. This is not a photograph or a print. This is the real dab of paint, which is so cool, right? So you can really tell. You can even see the gold. Look how shiny those golds are. Oh, those are yummy. So you can tell, and I love, like the one I was showing you earlier, I love the hot pink and the orange. Where's my orange? Organic orange is number 110. It's this one right here that is just fantastic. But what's so cool is that you can buy these little tubs, and then these are 4 ounces. And then if you really love something or you don't, then you'll know next time. So I asked him for this chart, and I'm really excited because there are some other colors in here I want to get. So this is one of the turquoise that I love. And then my favorite, wait till you see it because it is empty. Actually, where is that one? Okay, here it is. All right. Well, it's this one. I got a big one, but look, that one was really empty. And then this was a cool one I just got that I liked to put them together. This is a blue-green. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the blue-green, and I'm gonna use one of these just slanted brushes. And I still have my white. And then I think I'm gonna go with a little darker. So down in here, I used a dark blue ink, cerulean blue, and I used this quinacridone violet, which is kind of a cool color because it's like black, but it's got some violet in there too. So I like it. All right, so I'm gonna use that blue-green. And I just want to go in and really visually figure out this bottom part. I love the way the blue, I want to make sure you guys can see that. I love the way the blue and the purple are together, or the green and the purple are together. Whoopsie. And if you're really fast, you just can wipe it. It's okay. See what a mess I made? It's fine. Just gonna, it's all gonna be part of your painting, the big splotch. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and just tighten up my leaves, my petals. And then I'm gonna go in and make sure this one is somewhat centered. Okay, so then right here. I'm dipping right into the tub. You know, back in the day, they would have said, no, 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 you have to mix all your colors. And I went to a state school and I got a degree in graphic design and I took all the painting classes I was supposed to. I was so intimidated, oh my goodness, by all the artists in there. And anyway, our teacher was like very against taking any color right from the tube. However, what I say to that is do anything you want, and the colors today are so beautifully mixed. You can do that. The thing is, you can also make your own amazing colors from just a few. All right, so I'm taking this blue that's been on my brush. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit. This is where this is where things get really yummy for me. I love color. And so when I was looking at this painting this morning, I was thinking, you know, it's a little pastel-y. It's not maybe my thing, but look, this is how quickly you can change the color. So this brush is great. It's a slanted brush, and I'm literally doing these like dabs, okay? And what I love to do is do tons of them and layer them. And I don't really work in one area at once. I kind of hop over. Always thinking about, okay, what's my next thing I want to do? As I paint around something, I go, oh yeah, I want to go fix that, or I want to go fix that. So I'm just doing that right now. I'm kind of going in. My paint is still wet. I'm just going in and adding some strokes, always thinking about moving my brush in different directions. So I'm not always up and down. I also like to go darker and lighter over the same color. So I've got that going on right here. Aren't those two colors amazing? I don't know if it's coming across on camera as much as it is in real life, but the blue-green, and the purple or orange-pink, fantastic. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in, and you can tell more when I scrape. There's some really interesting colors underneath here. The trick on this is you gotta do it when it's wet. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna raise this so you can see it. So that is scraped in, and aren't they so pretty together? Whoopsie. All right, so I've got that. It sort of blocked some of that in. And that now what I might do is take another brush. Okay, I'm gonna bring that up here. Having just opposite colors on top of each other, so fun. And you know what, I think when I started painting and taking classes and doing all that stuff, it's just experimenting. I have colors that work together in my head already, but you know, I'm always finding new colors and it's so much fun to experiment. It's just paint. It's not permanent. Okay, I'm using some of that violet and I'm gonna mix that in with a little bit of blue. So I've got the violet from Nova, and this is a terrible thing I do with my, look at that. I might be the messiest painter in the world. So if your inks get like that, you just gotta pick them off, stick a toothpick in there. So I've mixed in a little bit of this blue into the purple, into the violet. And I'm just sort of adding a little blending here. Gonna hit along here. I sort of wanted this bottom piece, the bottom to be a little bit darker. So, you know, the lotus will bloom in mud. And so, not that I want to make mud, but I want to make it dark and dramatic. I thought that'd be fun. And I like some of the lines down here, so I want to be careful. With what I'm doing. And eventually I'll go in too in between here and make that darker, but I'm not gonna cover too much of this right now. I want to keep that. I want to keep some of that going on. And so probably not today, but at some point I'm going to get the darker colors and figure out the right way to put these together. So this is already in there, and I will probably go lighter purple until so it matches and blends better. So right now I'm just putting that dark color down. So funny that I signed it. I might leave that for a while, or I might cover it up. Another thing I like to do is to paint my edges. Whoopsie. I don't think I can show you that. Well, maybe. Is when I'm painting, I'm also hitting my edges. And eventually they'll become part of my design. So when you have extra paint, go ahead and hit the edge. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll take a smaller brush and a smaller, so I try to use all different types of brushes. And I think right now I'm gonna go in with my white again. That's why I have a big guy. And I'm gonna blend it with some blue and purple and white. Oopsie, I got some orange in there. Oh well, it's probably a muddy color now. And I'm just gonna make a little bit of marks going on. Not too many. Sometimes, like I was working on a painting today, and I'm actually gonna post it later, of doing these little tiny marks. And I just sat down and used a really small paintbrush. And I looked around the whole painting to see where it needed a little touch up. But sometimes I like to bring in the small brushes even in this early stage. One of the reasons I like to do that too is because if I'm working with bigger brushes, I sometimes will end up covering up pieces that I really like because I spent too much time like futzing with it. I really recommend, for me at least, is that I'll work on something for about 45 minutes and then I will stop and look at it. Plus it's good for your body, right? It's good for your body to take a little break. This was old. This was part of the old painting underneath. So what's cool is I'm gonna use some of those little pieces. I'm holding my brush pretty loose. Oh, I just realized you guys can't even see that. Sorry. I'm holding my brush pretty loose, just at the tip. I don't want to hold it too tight. I just want to kind of let some marks go. All right, so this was a flower underneath this lotus. I'm not 100% sure it's going to end up staying. So I'm just gonna leave it. And I love to make these little organic shapes. So I'm gonna do a couple of those while I have this color, this white, peachy color. All right, let's see what's happening down here. I've got that color in my hand. I might as well just pop it over here. So anyway, I wanted to share this with you guys. And if you have any questions, please always just message me and let me know. I love to share, and I'm happy to do so. And again, I'm going to be popping on to Instagram a lot more to do some of these painting sessions. But if you guys have anything you want me to do a little demo on, let me know. I have a YouTube channel, Andrea Garvey Art, where all those Facebook Lives that I did are in there. So we did everything during our shelter in place, which, by the way, I am still sheltering in place, it looks like, till the end of May. But from anything from Zentangling to doodling to art journaling to, let's see, what else did we do? Mandalas. We covered it all, and I'm going to be doing those still, but once a week, which frees up a little bit more time for me to jump on over here and work on some new classes that I'm putting together. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and let that go. So if you're just hopping on now, you might think, what the heck is she making? So if you hadn't been with me earlier, this is a repainting over a painting, which I highly recommend, because when you repaint a painting, I leave a lot of it already as an underlayer, and I use some of those paints and designs that I have as part of the new one too. Like for instance, up in here, I will try to leave a lot of, oh, look how sweet. I forgot this says love, L-O-V-E. Oh, so I'll try to leave some of the underpainting in because I think it adds some things to it. And all these marks I think are going to be really great. And so it's because the reason I am painting over it is I really feel like I have to love my art, and I just didn't love that one. But now I do. Now I love it. I mean, I don't love this right now, but I'm going to. I have a feeling it's going to be great. So I will try to do a few more lives painting this one so you'll see. And if you guys need any more questions on the paints, I love the Novas and I love Golden. But if you even have just regular paints, poster paint from your kids, just do that. It doesn't even matter. As long as you got some sort of little art tool in your hands, it's all good, right? So I thank you guys for hopping on and watching. I guess the replay will be going on for, I think Instagram does it for 24 hours. So you can see the whole little session I had. And I will see you guys soon, all right? I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and that you're doing something wonderful and creative. Okay, and now I don't even know how to end it. Oh yeah, I see it up there. Okay, time to wash my hands. All right, you guys, see you soon. Bye.